Oh, man.
I'm in the Witness Protection Program.
What's your name?
Dwayne.
I mean your full name.
Just Dwayne.
Don't you have a last name?
Dwayne.
A group of so-called fictitious characters is just as bad as a group of so-called real ones. They cause arguments among themselves, and curiously among the so-called real ones, they fight among themselves. They have affairs that are kept secret, and those affairs change the unspoken agreements of the relationships within the group. You can't trust them at any time or anywhere to be telling the truth. The real ones are the same way. So there's no difference, except that we're used to the behavior of the real ones, or we think we are. But the unreal ones get by unnoticed, they get written about, and their reasons are taken seriously. And if they are really old in the sense of outdated, sometimes there is a question about whether they were real at one time and somebody just made them unreal. But generally, we take them more or less as they come. The real ones can pretend to be the unreal ones, of course. This is called acting. No one knows why we do it. It's so stupid among people who don't like it. This behavior is called the curse of the theater. That is for the real ones to pretend to be unreal ones. But this is just the simplest form. The real ones can pretend to be other different real ones, and those pretend real ones can pretend to be unreal ones. This is called being an actor. A common example in another line of work, for instance, is the example of the conductor leading the orchestra in a musical performance of a work that was not conceived by the conductor. I've seen this. Say the performance was conceived by one Ludwig van Beethoven. Then the conductor leading the orchestra is pretending to be one Ludwig van Beethoven. It has to be, however absurd that seems. Else where would the conductor get the authority to lead the orchestra and tell them how the performance is supposed to go? We see this all the time. You know what I mean? And you thought the Greeks were barbaric. Objects are the same way. I mean, big objects, as well as small ones. Objects so big they don't even get the name. For instance, oceans. Now that's an object, but even at its size, it can't maintain its own identity. It has to be attached to something else. Something else is usually human. To use the example of a big object of importance, I can't look at the Pacific Ocean without thinking of the person I love. The person I love has the Pacific Ocean, the whole Pacific Ocean. That's a lot. Another person has Death Valley, and that's an object, or you could say it's a lack of one. It's a thing where an object, a big object, used to be, apparently. Another person has some of the things I work with. I can barely keep this for myself, the thing that I am writing with. I think I need it, like I need a certain kind of privacy in order to work. But when I don't need it that badly, when I don't need it that badly, it goes away, or rather it comes to somebody else. I have given up on the tables and chairs. They all belong to somebody else. For a couple of years, I worked with a person who is gone now. We were really close. We did a lot of things together, and we laughed a lot, but he never got the things. He got a small piece of Chinatown. That's not too important. What's important is he drank at least a gallon of iced coffee every day. He taught me to drink iced coffee. So he's got iced coffee. I can't drink a glass of iced coffee without thinking of this person. And that's a lot. We could get into smaller things or just parts of things, but we don't have to. I just wanted to give you the idea. As long as we are on the subject, I should remark on something even more mysterious. My consciousness, to use a phrase when I talk to myself, or even when I just try to say something, an idea like, right now, I am always addressing someone. I usually know exactly who that person is. There's no point in me naming any person. The person changes, and probably you wouldn't know any of the persons anyway. But it's not abstract like you might think. What do you call those things attached to all objects? Ghosts? No, of course not.
One example is hypoglycemia. That means low blood sugar that can contribute to the cycle of addiction in alcohol. Studies have shown that up to 90% of alcoholics have some degree of hypoglycemia. Cravings for sugar can be interpreted as a craving for alcohol. Hypoglycemia is one of 4 special types that can contribute to addiction to alcohol. Alcohol allergic is another. In this type, the addict has an allergy to some of the ingredients in alcohol or other foods. To a complex allergic reaction, a craving for alcohol is triggered by any foods to which the person is allergic. The alcohol allergic person is very likely a binge drinker, and his or her personality is altered by drinking. Another alcohol addicted type is called 2A-DHTH-IQ, which means the addict's body breaks down alcohol differently than most people do. This person can tolerate high quantities of alcohol. This type of alcoholic is a victim of a chemical called THIQ. The chemical is manufactured by the brain and fools the body into stopping production of its own endorphins. Cravings then result, and over time the person requires more and more alcohol to feel normal. The final addictive type that leads to alcohol addiction is affected by essential fatty acids. In short, people of this type feel depressed and use alcohol to feel better. Alcohol, however, is actually helping to cause the depression. To break the chains of addiction, the center uses multiple therapeutic methods to help clients in their addictive behavior. Among those, mindfulness, meditation, also called stress reduction, and yoga are used frequently.
Mr. or Ms. or Mrs. N, it hardly matters anymore, and probably Mr. or Ms. or Mrs. N wouldn't know or remember even the distinction is helped into the van. Mr. or Ms. or Mrs. N with a number of other people, all more or less in his or her condition. They are leaving the Death's Door Hospital somewhere in the great Southwest. Mr. or Ms. or Mrs. N driven to a place more comfortable up in the mountains. Conditions more like home, more comfortable than the Death's Door Hospital. Not that the Death's Door Hospital is bad in any way. It's good, but it's only good for one thing, and depending on how that thing works out for you, you go out one door or the other. Mr. or Ms. or Mrs. N and his or her companions went out the door to the van. Others, I imagine, go out another door. The mood, of course, is jolly, almost senselessly gay. Everybody talks, sometimes or most times, all at the same time, as best they can. Nobody listens as best they can. The driver of the van is in somewhat better condition, I guess, and he is more or less responsible, along with a couple of flight attendants from the Death's Door Hospital, to make sure the riders are comfortable, according to information from the staff of the Death's Door Hospital about who among the passengers will need to stop most often. To be carried bodily, of course, to a roadside toll facility, lifted out of his or her seat, slung over the driver's shoulder, and carried to the little cubicle. Undressed as much as necessary and instructed to call out when the job is done, at which time the driver will re-enter the little cubicle with a damp cloth. neither too warm nor too cold to finish up what cannot be achieved with the convenient roll of paper attached to the wall of the little cubicle. This might be 2 or 3 of the passengers, one after another, into the little cubicles, bodily, of course, but usually it is just one.
It looks like
The policy of individuality among the passengers still maintained almost intact, if a little skewed, being who, me? As if the efficiency of the singularity of the facility, e.g., no services for the next 29 miles, the driver's strength and courtesy, his delicacy and propriety. With regard to the purpose of the large roll of paper on the wall of the cubicle, his comforting indifference with regard to differences among humans, and most of all the brief pleasure of the damp cloth, that neither too warm nor too cold, were of no consequence to the ongoing temporary but vast and human scale schedule of keeping the thing going for our species on this globe. Circling, we are told, in some kind of space around the source, now nearer, now farther, depending on, I guess, the time of year. There is no agreement on these matters, except among those kind of people who think they know it all, ungrown-up college boys and girls, awed and believing in the coincidence of numbers. But we invented them, were of no consequence to the ongoing, temporary, but vast, in human scale, schedule of us and our things. Conveniently a variance on conveniences, as the road sign says, and well known to the driver who has made this trip frequently for the past few years and knows every bump and curve and sudden change of scenery that will bring the conveniences into play. Conveniently, the room of small cubicles and wash bowls and paper towels is most often connected to, in fact, architecturally,
sounds like everybody.
a part of a larger matter of conveniences that include a baffling variety of food and drink, sometimes reflecting in a superficial way what might be called ethnic origins, which can be purchased and dispersed to the waiting inhabitants of the van after their careful consideration of the menu, read and recited. I can't find my glasses. Amid the shouts and groans and opinions about good and bad, legal immigrants and illegal immigrants, Jews and Arabs, French and Germans, East and West, rich, poor, low humidity and high humidity, death and taxes, old jokes not quite remembered fully, well, finally worked out to the dissatisfaction of everybody. While the main business in the small cubicles is being worked out to the dissatisfaction of everybody, including Mr. or Ms. or Mrs. N, of course.
She asked me to write a love letter, something she could hide in a shoebox in the drawer. No names, no promises, just something she can look at to remind her what the day is for. Lonely lady, middle of the afternoon. Lonely lady, come in feeling blue. Love letter on a paper napkin folded, addressed to you, lonely lady. How precious you are, I mean to me. How priceless you are, will always be. How special you are, no one can see. but
I'll keep it a secret. I'll keep it a secret. I'll keep it a secret. Sincerely.
He says he's tired of stories. He says he longs for some little language such as lovers use, broken words like the shuffling of feet upon the pavement. You want a cup of coffee?
Should we walk or take a bus?
I don't like shopping.
You don't like standing still.
One black and one with milk.
And a powdered donut, please.
A noise, a commotion, a clash of devices, of emblems, of mottos, of epistles, of sonnets, of epigrams, of books, of chattering scribbles, of terminal sweats, of lives consumed, of cries that deafen the stars, laments that make hell's caverns reverberate, aches that strike the living dumb, sights that exhaust the pity of the gods. For those eyes, for those cheeks, for that bosom, for that white, for that crimson, for that tongue, for that tooth, for that lip, for that mantle, that glove, that slipper, that high heel, that avarice, that giggle, that scorn, that empty window, that eclipse of the sun, that hammer, that disgust, that stench, that sepulchre, that cesspit, that carrion, that malaria, that uttermost insult and lapse of nature, that with a surface, a shadow, a phantasm, a dream, an enchantment of Circe, plied in the service of reproduction, should deceive in the matter of beauty, which simultaneously comes and goes, issues and dies, flowers and rots, and is somewhat beautiful on the outside, but truly and fixedly contains within a shipyard, a workshop, custom house, a marketplace of every foulness, toxin, and poison that our stepmother nature has managed to produce. And once the seed she requires has been paid out, she often repays it with a morass, a remorse, a sadness, a flaccidity, a headache, a lassitude, this and that distemper that are known to all the world, so that every place aches bitterly where it itched so sweetly before.
we're just friends. We usually meet at the bar. I always say, honey, tell me who you are. The kids are all grown up, and the man's always away, and everything is coming down around her day by day. Lonely lady, middle of the afternoon. Lonely lady, come in feeling blue. Love letter on a paper napkin folded, addressed to you, lonely lady. How precious you are, I mean to me. How priceless
You are, will always be. How special you are, no one can see.
But
I'll keep it a secret. I'll keep it a secret. I'll keep it a secret.
sincerely,
How
Oh,
precious.
may I never come to rue the love without which I've no wish for happiness.
How priceless.
Though for its sake
You
I
are.
sacrifice to prove I've no
How
wish,
special.
not to wish for its largesse.
You are.
Whether the sky be bright, dark,
How precious.
chill or hot,
You
the
are.
phoenix is but
I
one
need to make.
and ever true. No destiny or fate
How priceless.
can breach the knot
You are.
that even death
Will
itself
always
could not undo. For heart,
How special.
spirit, and
You
soul,
are.
no pleasure,
No one
liberty,
can see.
or life can render such smile,
But I'll
or
keep it a
sustenance,
secret.
or amity as were more sweet, more
Sincerely.
gracious, or more tender than the grief,
Lonely
yoke,
lady.
and deathly toll I have by nature,
Lonely
will,
lady.
and destiny. His chief erogenous zone lay inside his head.
Who said that?
I did.
You should take a walk every day.
I can't afford it, and on a nice day, it scrambles my mind.
Wanna go home?
Yeah, I guess it's getting me.
We can take a taxi.
Can I have the check, please?
transcending distant time and space, the world of stars we see now is explored by Subaru.
Not the car.
Poem by Prince Naruhito, honoring the telescope on Mauna Kea, Hawaii.
No. No.
Subaru means the Pleiades, seven sisters seen above at a certain time of year.
No. No.
I saw them once at the darkness of the bayou.
No,
Darkness so deep there, they don't have cars.
No.
They say it's coincidence of time and space, light years apart. They look like they're together.
No. No.
There are millions of them, but we see just seven. They're light years apart, the seven.
No. No.
Low Ryan lurking nearby, waiting for his chance. It'll never happen though.
No. No.
Transcending distant time and space, the world of stars we see now is explored by Subaru.
No. No.
Naruhito, he's not so smart. He should have said, just like us. Every night, desire years apart.
No. No.
Seven sisters, years apart. Seven chances, not so smart. Every night, desire years apart.
No. No.
Transcending distant time and space, the world of stars we see now is explored by Subaru.
Not the car.
Raoul took the boy's hand and they walked out onto the balcony of the faculty hotel. It was dark. The trees were at the other side of the lawn that started below the balcony and extended about 20 yards to the wall of the forest. The forest was a wall of darkness without detail, or rather a kind of black mass surface with a barely distinguishable striation of vertical lines describing the topography as in a painting, a black painting by some surrealist who attached sticks to his work. And it had the quality of a painting too, because the light from the room leading to the balcony reflected off that surface, as if the surface were arbitrarily angled to the viewers. Raoul and the boy. Raoul could imagine the surface being turned slightly to produce another kind of reflection, but neither angle would reveal that the surface was simply the front edge of the forest. In the silence of the waiting, the boy was unusually calm and patient, as if he were in control of what was to happen next, as if willing it. All of the problems about the clock and the mirror were seemingly forgotten. The boy was in control of what was to happen next, and it happened. The barely distinguishable sound of the twig breaking in the woods, somebody changing their position, not carelessly, but at the mercy of the nature of the forest floor. An oversight, the slightest move to get a better angle, to get a better view, a better aim in the twig broke. Raoul heard it, Raoul waited for the inevitable, but it didn't come. The twig broke, stepped on, not carelessly, by the one Raoul had never seen, the one hovering in the boy's imagination. Lurking, the boy had decided to forgive. The struggle was over, the boy had won, the end. Oh, Raoul heard it, Raoul waited for the inevitable, and it came. The sharp sound of the rifle and the sharp blow to the chest. In this pairing we can never be sure which came first. Does the bullet travel faster than the sound? Probably someone knows, or certainly Raoul knows, but science is no help. In the memory one comes first, and then in the replay the other, and then in the second replay the first order, forever shifting between the mirror and what it sees. The sound and the sharp blow to the chest. Raoul was on his back, thrown back into the room by the blow. On his back, in a brilliant light, and the sound in his ear. The boy is speaking to him very close to the ear. The boy is guiding him. The boy is in control as always. The boy speaks of the problem of the mirror and the clock that runs backwards. The clock whose hands turn counterclockwise from the days when Raoul was a student in this most private school for boys, when Raoul was tortured with loneliness, tortured by the unseen and by the seen, but unspeakable, when Raoul had found the clock and taken it back to his room. Raoul first had painted the hands and the face of the clock black, so that the time was hidden unless the surface was angled slightly. Then finally, in utter desperation, he had taken the clock apart, carefully at first, laying out the parts, each screw, each spring, each ratchet on the tower, and committing the pattern to memory in order to be able to reassemble the clocks. First, working just at the surface, then gradually deeper and deeper, until the whole of the inside of the clock was on the towel and the pattern was mastered. Finally then, it could be done in an hour. Finally then, it could be done in total darkness. Finally then, Raoul came to know the clock. The clock became part of his imagination, and his imagination of its own accord began transforming the clock. It is impossible, but not impossible, without trying and failing, but simply waiting until it could be done perfectly without trying. The clock was put back together so that the hands moved counterclockwise, counter to nature, and in this way the clock could be read best by being seen in the mirror. Don't look at the clock, look at the mirror in the darkness. But the boy was not prepared. The boy had studied certain things to master, but the clock and the mirror finally blocked his progress. The clock and the mirror had to go. It was almost as if agreed upon between them. And that is why Raoul had gone to the balcony to keep his part of the agreement, etc. You get the idea.
December 25th, 1993.
An early morning dream.
I'm facing north by northwest.
Early morning dream.
The scene is an upper class suburb
An early
on the west
morning
side
dream.
of Chicago.
An upper class suburb.
The Chicago skyline
An
can be
upper-class
seen
suburb.
in the distance on the left, which is eastward.
Eastward.
Between the suburb and the
Eastward.
skyline can be seen Lake
Eastward.
Michigan.
Between the suburb and the skyline.
The suburb
Between
is
the
quite
suburb
swell, with rolling
and the
lawns
skyline.
and curving hilly streets, big houses.
Well cared for.
Our house
Well
is
cared for.
behind me on the right.
Well cared
Our
for.
house is on a corner.
Behind me on the right.
The peculiar thing about this suburb is that the streets are made of water,
Made of water.
except the water doesn't run
Like
with gravity.
canals.
Like
The water
canals.
is flat
Like an owl.
and trend
Like
on all
canals.
planes.
On all planes.
On
At the
all
curb in
planes.
front of our house is
On
parked
all
a raft made out of pieces
What
of
does
4
that
by
mean?
8 3/4 inch plywood on something that floats. What that something
Something that
is
floats.
can't be understood.
But it is important.
The raft is very plain,
Very plain.
nothing except the plywood.
Which is untreated.
Out of our house
Untreated.
comes our adopted daughter, Walnut.
Adopted daughter.
Walnut is an American Indian with a face that is exactly the face seen on
Exactly.
a nickel. She passes me on the right in profile
In profile.
with a kind of halo
A halo.
around her face. The halo is exactly the
Exactly.
circle of the coin.
Exactly.
In fact, I don't see her body,
Exactly.
only her face. She gets on the raft in order to leave.
In order to leave.
The question of where she is going
In order
is
to
not
leave.
part of the dream. Before she pulls away from the curb,
In order to leave.
Em gives her a snorkel in
snorkel.
order that she can have some fun.
Have some fun.
We have decided to break up the family because we discovered that
We discovered
our house has holes in it. The holes are small, about 1 inch in diameter, but they are all over the
All over
floors
the floors
and
and
walls.
walls.
When Walnut leaves, I'm in the water
When Walnut
up
leaves.
to my shoulder.
swimming.
I'm swimming.
Swimming.
As in the picture of Mao Zedong swimming.
Swimming.
I am swimming.
Swimming.
The water is deeper
Is deeper.
than I am tall.
Is deeper.
I say goodbye, Walnut. The moment is so sad
So sad.
that I want to cry.
I want to cry.
Then
Then
I say to myself,
Then
you should write screenplays.
I have to make a list of all the reasons to want to tell all because I am not a poet.
Very nice. Now, what is the problem? The problem. Asylum. What?
Asylum.
Said that.
Yes.
Asylum.
Yes.
Do you know what the word means?
Yes.
Asylum from what?
We do not know.
You do not know.
We do not know.
You want asylum?
Yes.
Say it in a simple way.
We are prisoners.
You are prisoners of whom?
It is hard to explain.
What does that mean?
We cannot leave.
Speak simply.
We cannot leave.
What is stopping you?
Something inside.
Something inside.
Something inside.
What is that something?
We need to find the right word.
Yes, you do.
The word is determination.
Determination to do what?
Not to do what?
Determination to be what?
Not to be what?
Not to be what?
Determination imposed as if.
From the outside.
Can you give the outside a name?
Oh, and no.
Oh,
It
no.
means one and only.
One and only.
We think that's what it
Who
means.
is he?
O and O is not a he.
Who is she?
O and O is not a she.
Oh, no. is
Determination imposed as if.
From the outside.
what?
Determination imposed as if.
From the outside.
Oh, no.
We have shortened it to simply O.
Give me more information, please.
We saw a movie.
On TV?
Yes, on TV.
A comedy?
The camera is looking over the left shoulder of a man with a gun in his right hand.
The gun is pointed at a man sitting across the desk.
It's not a
The
comedy?
gun is pointed at his face.
The man with the gun, or somebody, says, "Do you think people with black skin are better dancers than you are?"
It's not a comedy?
The man across the desk hesitates a moment.
Then he says, no.
The man with the gun says, "Do you think silly gay people should be tortured in public?"
The man across the desk hesitates a moment.
Then he says, no.
It's not a
The
comedy?
man with the gun says, "Do you think Daffy Danes are lower than dogs on the street?"
The man across the desk hesitates a moment.
Then he says, no.
Hesitates is the key word.
The man with the gun pulls the trigger.
The face of the man across the desk disappears in an explosion of blood.
The man with the gun says he was lying.
Somebody comes in and washes the wall with a hose.
Somebody washes the lens of the camera.
He who hesitates.
Another man comes in and sits in the chair across the desk.
Same thing again.
After about 10 of these, somebody off camera says, "This is going to take a long time."
The man with the gun says, I have a long time. It has to be done.
How long is the movie?
We left after about an hour.
Manic depression is ancient adaptation to the rigors of prehistoric life.
Manic when it's time to hunt.
Depressed when it's time to hibernate.
Hibernation is a time for dreams
Thus,
Depression.
Is the mode
of the imagination.
get it?
What do you all mean?
Aside,
You want asylum?
From determination.
Does O know that you are seeking asylum?
Probably.
What do you do when you are there?
sing, cook.
No,
Do the dishes.
you mean as you sang a minute ago?
The precise time is 20 seconds, more or less.
But that was pretty. Didn't have dirty words.
None of the songs has dirty words.
What is the complaint?
We cannot explain.
You sing, you eat,
yes.
you do the dishes,
Yes.
you want to get away.
Yes,
This is not right.
Maybe.
How did you get out?
We did not get out.
Sing another song, please.
What about the kids?
mean if I don't
What about the
Get a
kids?
job.
What about the
Inherit
kids?
What about the
But
kids?
we don't have
What about my
What about
mother?
my
What about my sister?
What about my
What
brother?
about my
What about my
aunt?
What about my
Okay, I'll sell them.
silverware,
garbage
Temple
can?
bed,
TV set,
mobile phone,
Second car?
attic room,
microwave,
dirty book,
rocking chair,
Wherewithal?
silver cup,
bungo bag,
garden hose,
compact disc,
Fishing pole?
acid test,
come with me,
Best insurance?
razor blade,
peace of mind,
dental floss,
paperweight,
Fountain pen?
Sunday suit,
mental health,
Who's to know?
birthday cake,
handkerchief,
reading spec,
books and prints,
Second base?
Weekend pass,
Double bed?
tablecloth,
napkin ring,
mowing knife,
Chocolate cake?
wishing well,
told you so,
dental plan,
power pack,
gun for hire,
Dining room?
safety line,
garden shed,
Combat boat?
Radio.
Time to
Power.
spare?
monkey wrench,
kitchenette,
Sleepless nights?
clemency,
sewing kit,
master plan, wedding gown,
diamond ring,
hit and run,
track and
winter
field,
sports,
Take a hike.
paper,
cowboy hat,
College store.
mustache
walk
man,
the dog.
minor notes,
coffee
Stand up bar.
dancing
Gone.
shoes,
No, you don't.
told you so,
mama's
Money
ball,
belt.
football
Double
star,
dare,
girly bag,
dog
Poker
patrol,
game.
TV guy,
candy bar,
help yourself,
money bag,
borrow,
ace song,
nursery rhyme,
attitude,
See.
look me up,
See you soon.
table talk,
teacher's
want
pet,
to
rock
play,
and roll,
live and learn,
wanna go,
basket case,
Count it out.
eat and
fun
run,
and games,
grab a bite,
Heavy load.
jelly roll,
kids and
last night,
nasty fall,
Baby cat.
right a wall,
Sweet
little Joe,
very good,
ecstasy.
here's your
yes and no,
saving grace,
Next.
auntie,
let 'em wait,
now we know
what the heck,
by the fire,
Extra tea.
Jonah Bell.
That's pretty.
thank you,
What is complaint?
We want to be out.
You're out.
no, we are not out,
You're out.
Nor you.
I am out.
no,
And you are here.
You think you're out, but you are not out.
I am out.
You are not out, but you do not know it.
I know what I'm saying.
that is what O might say,
What else does O say?
nothing,
You mean he does not say anything else, or he does not say anything?
O is not a he,
O does not say anything else, or O does not say anything.
Anything.
Anything else, or anything.
Anything?
You're not speaking clearly.
maybe.
Maybe we could have another song.
The plate was taken away, the heavy door shut. I heard the lock. I thought to myself, if Beckett wrote in French, he must have had to have a baguette for breakfast. You can't write in French after a breakfast of oatmeal. That is, when Beckett decided to write in French, he must have known that that decision meant that thereafter he had to have a baguette for breakfast. No, I thought to myself, think clearly, this is your chance. Beckett wanted to have the baguette for breakfast, though he knew this desire would lead him irrevocably to writing in French. You can't have the baguette for breakfast and write other than in French. He chose. It takes courage to be a writer.
What are you complaining about?
Determination.
As if imposed from the outside. Do what?
It is not clear.
How can it not be clear?
it is not clear,
But you all sing together.
Everybody sings together.
Everybody does not sing together.
Everybody sings together.
Everybody sings together.
They try. Everyday catalogs coming to the door. I got to keep on buying, got to get some more.
I love that stuff.
I love that stuff.
I love that stuff.
I love that stuff.
got a Japanese car made in Tennessee, Victoria's Secret is no secret to me,
I love that stuff.
I love that stuff,
I love that stuff.
I love that stuff.
Hardly wait to get off work to see the latest styles. I know every shop and every mall in 30 miles.
I love that stuff.
I love that stuff.
I love that stuff.
I love that stuff.
Pocket full of credit cards right up to the line. Paid when you got it, and everything is fine.
I love that stuff.
I love that stuff.
I love that stuff.
I love that stuff.
Let us start over again.
A silence.
Silence from,
Determination.
as if imposed,
From the outside.
so that you will not sing together.
It does not matter.
What does not matter?
That we all sing together.
But you cannot sing together unless you have determination.
Perhaps.
And you do not want to sing together?
We didn't say that.
Show me how you do not sing together.
I had it and I lost it. I hope I come across it. I could use a little bit right now.
That sounded together to me.
You do not listen carefully.
Do it one more time.
I never
did.
He never did it.
She never did it with a.
I never did it with a
before.
Before what?
that was a different song.
Same idea.
I believe you are not speaking correctly.
That is a common accusation.
Oh,
If you are determined to be happy, nothing can be wrong.
what's wrong with that?
If you are determined to be happy,
Isn't that splitting hairs?
Recent attendance.
Measure.
What's considered to be large?
by conference standards,
Sure.
That's a
We
fact.
have come for help.
Sit down or stand up and let us talk this over.
We are sitting down.
After all the stuff that we've been,
After all the stuff that we've been,
after all the stuff that we've been,
After all the stuff that we've been
through.
all I can think about is
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 you.
You sang sitting down.
there's no difference.
But standing up is better.
that was in the old days.
For what?
Before we came here,
Let me change the subject.
thank you.
Where is the South?
It is not a place.
Don't tell me it's a state of mind.
It's a state of mind.
Then help yourself.
State of mind is the only thing that cannot be changed.
What can I do?
state of mind is the only thing that cannot be changed.
I'm not a doctor.
State of mind is the only thing that cannot be changed.
It's not the only thing.
No.
There are things physical.
Yes.
You cannot grow back an arm.
No.
You cannot come back to life.
Everything you say is true.
Then help yourself.
Pull yourself up by your bootstraps.
Did O say that?
State of mind is the only thing that cannot be changed.
Did O say that?
It is the lesson.
Did O say that?
O says, if you are determined to be happy, nothing can be wrong.
So what's wrong with that?
If you are determined to be happy,
I don't understand.
If then is false.
I don't understand.
What I can't reconcile in myself, or rationalize, or understand, is my belief that there is no life after death. With my belief in ghosts.
How many ghosts do you know?
That was pretty.
It was not perfect.
It was perfect enough for me.
You do not listen carefully.
Let me change the subject.
thank you.
Do you do such songs from memory?
Everything is from memory.
No, I mean, do you memorize?
No, we see it.
You mean it is in that little box?
It is in the little box and in the sea.
Show me, please.
The only thing that counts is what people don't understand. If you make it so they can understand it, you are a fool, and it's not going to be any good anyway. It's got to be a secret about yourself and about the world.
Show me how the seeds work.
It's only fun if it's against the law.
Otherwise, it's not fun.
It's only funny if it's against the law.
Otherwise, it's not funny. It's only poetry if it's against the law. Otherwise, it's not poetry.
It's only beautiful if it's against the law.
Otherwise, it's not beautiful.
I did not hear it in the seeds or whatever they are.
You do not listen carefully.
But they are not all seeds.
You could call them seeds.
You could call them anything you want.
We call them seeds.
Show me how the seeds work
You could call them seeds.
so that I can understand.
I like Q.
I like it too.
Q.
Don't get on.
4 sounds for 1 letter.
Very big.
Very important.
Don't
No.
give up. What is that stuff?
No matter what.
What about Albuquerque?
Or Dubuque.
Those aren't names.
And from another language.
And you never know.
Perhaps that's the answer.
I still do not understand.
You will eventually.
Do not use that kind of word.
We apologize.
We are not solving anything.
We are asking for asylum.
It is my duty to remind you
It is not a lot to ask.
that I work here.
It is not a lot to ask.
I work here.
There's no one else to ask.
Why do you not ask, oh?
One, if men could pregnant be, the world would be a different place.
Sure. 2, there would be no wars or strife or suffering.
Sure.
3 would be a sort of Eden. No smoking either.
Sure.
4, if they were reasonable, they would agree with me.
Sure.
There is a technical problem.
Explain the problem, please.
You are in an asylum.
We are in a place.
The place is an asylum.
Our meaning is different.
This is as much an asylum as can be provided.
There must be a misunderstanding.
This is as much an asylum as can be provided.
It would seem that.
This is as much an asylum as can be provided.
If you know about asylum.
This is as much an asylum as can be provided.
You would understand that there is no safety here.
I cannot change the meaning of words.
Resoluteness.
Resoluteness means determination, decision, resolution, resolve.
Yes.
Determination means perception, measurement, judgment.
Yes.
Decision means will, settlement, binding, and all that we have discussed.
Yes.
Resolution means spunk, tenacity, firmness, steadfastness.
Yes.
Resolve means intention, will, decision, determination, and resolution.
Yes.
We are at the beginning.
Yes.
We have closed the circle of meaning.
You have succeeded in leaving me behind. What we had together once is
Never mind.
Never mind.
If I understand you,
Yes.
you want irresponsibility.
No.
You want burden to be lighter.
Roughly, that is accurate.
Why do you say roughly?
The statement is in the vernacular.
I think I'm beginning to understand.
Thank you.
What you are asking for does not exist.
How is that possible?
You have perhaps come to expect too much.
But what about the patterns?
There are no patterns except in dreams for wishes to come true.
The burden, as you spoke of it,
It is always the same.
In every pair.
It is always the same.
Black and white.
Yes,
Muslim and Jew.
yes,
the keeper and the kept.
yeah.
Christian and white.
A mythical brokerage firm.
German and French.
Yes,
Britain and Ireland.
yes.
The torture and the tortured.
A rare borderline case.
Congolese and Belgian.
Yes,
Another borderline case.
Congolese are still there.
And the Belgians?
Long gone, back to Belgium.
Old Russia and all of its dominions.
25 million murdered when they stopped counting.
Old China and all of its dominions.
36 million by expert estimation.
The murderer and the murdered.
We cannot know.
Man and woman?
Yes,
Young and old.
yes,
Rich and poor.
yes,
The burden is always the same.
yes,
Black and white.
yes,
Muslim and Jew.
yes,
The keeper and the cat?
yes,
German and French.
yes,
Britain and Ireland.
yes.
Old Russia and all of its dominions?
25 million murdered when they stopped counting.
Old China and all of its dominions.
36 million by expert estimation.
The clean and the unclean.
Watch your words.
Man and woman.
Yes,
Young and old?
yes,
Rich and poor.
yes,
The burden is always the same.
yes,
The two parts of the tango.
yes,
Chippewa and Sioux.
yes,
Aztec and the sacrificed?
yes,
The illusioned and the disillusioned.
yes,
The sober and the not sober?
yes,
The worker and management.
yes,
The owner and the owned.
yes,
The tall and the not tall.
yes,
The fat and the thin?
yes,
Impotent and vital.
yes.
Solemn and gleeful.
3 men, all named Noel, are walking on the beach.
Near shingle, as in the novel.
Yes and no.
Or alongside a simple surf.
There is a mermaid.
Half in, half out.
English Noel says.
With mixed cast feelings?
Have you ever been kissed?
To the mermaid.
Yes.
She says.
No. So the English Noel spends a long time kissing her.
With mixed cast feelings?
The Scottish Noel says.
With ancient religious resentment.
Have you ever been fondled?
She says.
No. So the Scottish Noel spends a long time fondling
The
her.
fondled part in the imagination is like the north in contour.
Irish Noel says.
In the manner of the ancient language?
Have you ever been,
An old and troublesome expression.
No, she says.
The burden is the same in almost all cases.
Heated.
In a language we can understand.
Well, you are, now because the tide just went out.
Is that intended to be funny?
2 cannibals are eating a clown.
Garni?
One cannibal says to the other,
In a language we can understand.
"Does this taste funny to you?"
Animals and humans?
We cannot know.
Animals are the problem.
I have never done it with an animal before.
What is the answer?
Before what?
The seller and the buyer.
Yeah,
The deceived and the shrewd?
yeah,
The performer and the audience.
yes,
Celebrity and loneliness.
yes,
Graceful and clumsy.
yes,
Mortal and immortal.
yes,
The burden is always the same.
yes,
Easterner and Westerner.
yes,
Good and bad.
yes,
A pariah and a Brahmin.
yes,
Cash and carry?
yes,
Dead and gone.
yes,
If looks could kill.
yes,
Home sweet home.
yes,
Cream and sugar?
yes,
Fast and furious.
yes,
The cautious and the heedless.
yes,
Left and right.
yes,
Backward and forward.
Yes.
Night and day.
Yes.
The frightened and the fearless.
Yes.
The upright and the bent.
Yes.
The strong and the weak.
Yes.
Sweet and sour.
Yes.
The burden is always the same.
Yes.
It's almost 10 o'clock, kids. It's almost 10 o'clock, kids. It's almost 10 o'clock, kids. Do you know where your mother is?
A complicated song.
He's just an ordinary man.
Fool.
You know.
You don't need to understand.
Antonym.
Synonym.
Yeah.
Antony.
And Cleopatra.
Yeah.
Egyptologists now say that citizens
Not slaves.
Built the pyramids.
With citizens like that,
Yes.
good reason to stay indoors.
outdoors.
Yeah.
If all hears that, we will be punished.
For what?
Frivolity.
And you call this a dream?
Years of desire, a moment of madness, lady's choice.
I saw it with my own eyes on TV. Mr. Ozzie Smith, Wizard of Oz. His last bat in the All-Star game. When he came on the field, he always did a flip. The way he did things was a legend. He said the night before, this is the last one. 50,000 fans were screaming. Both teams from both sides were on the field. Hats and gloves and everything were flying in the air. Thousands of ball players everywhere were in tears. The TV zoomed in, of course. He stood there at the plate and tipped his hat. Umpires walked away. You can't stop this. He tipped his hat again 2 or 3 times. Then he just stood there crying. 10 minutes out of baseball.
Too old to go dancing, too old to make money, too old to be in love. He just
we'll see what they say.
I'll see what I
And
say.
what I can do about it.
First off, she, the doctor,
Elderly woman
Hunched over,
With a thick New York accent.
welcomed
in her
me
Southern California home.
with the rotting lemons falling like dead mice from the tree out front.
and quickly proceeded to the predetermined
woefully overrated.
Rorschach test.
Oh,
Being new at psychology,
Dead set on making
A good impression.
I worked like a
on
dog
every image that came up
to make sure I said something interesting,
artistic.
And
in sight.
so she might not perceive the ordinariness within.
Oh,
At the end of the test, I discovered that
Oh.
I was discovered.
You said this looked like,
back to back,
a dancer
isn't it real?
the face of your
and an abusive father.
As a newcomer to the game, I gave in.
Said yes.
can't really remember.
I do recall before long.
I wrote a letter to my family telling them
All the ways in which
Oh, my memory.
Contract
that possibly they could have been the reason for all my problems.
insecurities.
Doubt.
and failure.
And then the therapist discovered that I had dearly loved my father who had died,
Rather
At a
tragic.
young
A
age.
short time before.
and that I was in the process of mourning him quickly.
Because I was
The
fixated
loss.
And the love.
It was suggested
by the way.
Hypnosis is a big deal.
These
that for
situations.
me to love him
And miss anyone that much.
Especially your father.
must mean
Must be
I had been sexually abused.
throughout your life.
You were just having a hard time remembering.
And I can help you. For a fee, of course.
Soon I was reading those tracks
Abuse
Women of suffering
and wondering why
as a help.
and sane human being.
I could
Call
not
any incident.
project this onto my familial situation.
Oh.
Sexually abused? Gosh, hard as I try.
Never mind.
Gosh, and a husband who's all work and no play, left a lot to be desired.
We know the story.
So I sought help. And
Never mind.
can you imagine?
Know the story.
She said the answer lay in
We
medication.
know the story.
Medication.
Never mind.
I think she meant pills. Anyway, soon the therapist, who insisted on chain smoking,
And if you had a problem,
You need more session.
To work it out.
was dead from lung cancer, and I was
in the
out,
cold, cruel,
Whole cruel world.
Undiagnosed.
left with only a few lame cassette tapes.
A
suggesting
moon.
Toward the light.
with every gentle sweep of his glowing light,
Move toward your
A place
center.
of calm, free from the world of concern.
just follow my light
To your center.
You're doing well.
Follow my light.
with the center of your eye,
The center of your mind.
Center of your spirit. Very nice.
You're doing well.
and we are moving
Ever closer to
How
it.
about
Center of
this?
our
the
being.
center of our
You are
Our
moving
soul.
closer to the source of all
It is
hidden
why the
light,
prayer
and
calls
there's
us
only
to
one
the
thing to
center.
do.
Just
Move
follow
toward the
the light
light,
to the center
fresh
of the
light.
car.
It is where
Fresh
we
air
light
toward the
can
light, the
It is
window
the
open,
big
welcome.
light.
Place yourself
Closer to
upon
the
the window
center.
ledge. Lean out into the light. Feel how real it's, how fresh, how friendly and welcoming it is.
without intention,
Fresh
without
light,
restraint,
fresh air,
without
etc.
resistance.
You can
With the
imagine
glimmer of the
from
light.
there what the next suggestion
Closer to the
might
center
be.
to a place
No
of
wonder
peace.
people
You're
jump out of
doing
buildings
well.
all the
You're
time.
doing well,
Oh,
doing well.
goodness, that was a
You're doing
long
well.
time ago.
and you are safe here.
I have made you
And
safe
what about
from
the
very
infamous
thing.
And which to
alcohol?
bring forth great sums
For
of money.
keeping you so
Yes,
safe.
I was
safe,
interested
you know.
in
This
the
is the
fun.
best thing to do.
And on that fated
And
day,
I have made you
and
safe.
At the
yes,
center of
I
the
did
center.
slip behind the wheel and attempt to attend one
Great
more
sums of
mandatory child
You are standing
event.
at the top of
What happened after the arrest?
Of
The
a
sensual
gloriously
abuse by the
beautiful
arresting officer, the humiliation of the whole ordeal, and the initiation into the underworld of prostitutes, husband beaters, and petty thieves in a bizarre kind of bonding session that evening. I was quickly connected via mobile phone to a new therapist who, in the wake of my shock and shame, suggested that,
Delicious
of
calm grapes
course, I
upon
needed help, and would I come to her post haste, at which point we would redesign my mind and my
more
life.
beautiful than you have ever seen.
So within an hour, without my say-so whatsoever,
Toward the
I was placed in a treatment program.
Beauty.
The party on the other end of the
You're
helpline
in a place of total
empathized,
calm.
and when I sighed, said, "Why are you crying?"
You're doing well.
I sighed again, and she said,
Doing well.
"You most certainly need help. And by the way, if you don't go through with the therapy, as I am a representative of your healthcare program, you should know that we will cancel your coverage immediately. Oh, thank you, and have a nice day, honey." And then I entered a urine testing room full of dropouts, deadbeats, drug addicts, etc., and hated every minute of it, and checked out midway. Isn't that a surprise? surprise. And it just goes on and on. Betrayal, coercion, therapy as punishment, a family divided against itself, all ethically reprehensible behavior, and the patient possibly will be open to self-incrimination. Do you pay by check or credit card? It's a double-edged sword at best, meaningless at worst, right? Which is really scary. I mean, really scary. Oh goodness, that was a long time ago. I wonder if they still do it that way.
The river deepens when it gets down to the sea. The river deepens.
Drinks and smokes and tells old jokes. They aren't even funny, he just
I think this is a dream. J is a woman, N and G are men. J and G and are driving in the middle of the night along some highway in the southwest. These are three of my closest friends. I am driving. J is in the passenger seat. N and G are in the back seat. But because of something peculiar about the car, they are both leaning forward well into the front seat. Our heads are close to one another, 4 in a row, J, G, N, and me. We are all very tired, and we are looking for a place to sleep. Finally, we come to a casino roadhouse on the left side of the road. The left side is the south side. We are going west. The sign says rooms or hotel. I don't remember which. We drive into the parking lot, get out and go to the reception desk. The place is noisy. Gambling machines, pool tables, a bar. Lots of people. The person at the desk, a woman, says there are no rooms available. We turn to go back to the car, but G has disappeared. G is a self-proclaimed and very vocal, but very bad gambler. We look through the whole place, but we can't find him. We are really exhausted. I say to N that we should go on, leaving G behind. When I say this, N gets mad, takes a swing at me. I duck and swing back in self-defense. Unbelievably, I hit N and knock him out. I say to J that we have got to get out of here quickly, because when N wakes up, he is going to hurt me. He is stronger than I am. J and I go back out to the car. Curiously, it is parked to go forward into the casino parking lot to get out. I don't remember parking it this way. I take note of this. J and I get in, and then I understand why N and G were leaning so far forward. The car is a strange design with a sloping front like a racing car, but with a big cubicle area behind the front seats, which is filled with a lot of pieces of luggage. The back seat is small. The whole back area is packed with luggage. Suitcases. That is why G and N were leaning forward. I start to drive the car out of the parking lot and back onto the highway, but the car is almost unsteerable because the steering ratio is so extreme. The slightest turn of the steering wheel makes the car veer sharply to the right or left. I think this is the opposite of a racing car steering ratio, but I'm not sure it matters. Finally, after many minutes and dozens of maneuvers, moving forward and backward a foot or so at a time, I get the car to the exit of the parking lot. The exit is tilted slightly upward to the highway. At this moment, a car pulls up beside us at the exit. The other car has its windows open, and we have our windows open. It is hot. Apparently, our car has no air conditioning. There are two guys in the other car. The car is on our left. It is next to me. I am in the driver's seat. The guy on the passenger side of the other car says to me, very casually, looking forward all the time, well, when you have a car like that, that's what you get. They drive away. I get the car out on the highway, and we continue in the same direction we were going. But the driving is very hard because of the steering ratio. I am straining to keep the car on the road. Jay and I are very tired. We don't speak to each other. After a long few miles, 10 or 20, we come to a ramshackle desert motel on the right side. The vacancy light is on, and we pull into the parking lot. This is the middle of the night. Everything is very difficult, but the desert night is beautiful. We wake up the woman at the reception desk. She says she has one room. She asks if we are married. I could have said yes, but I answer, no, but we're old friends, and we're both happily married with families, and we can't go another mile because we are so exhausted. We just need a place to sleep. She says she'll make an exception in this case.
She gives us the key to one of the motels.
She gives us the key to one of the motel rooms, which is on the second floor. Jay and I struggled in the room. We could barely walk because of the tiredness. We open the door. It is a small, old-style motel room with single beds against opposite walls. The bathroom toilet is on the left. Between the beds, lying on his back, not bruised or bleeding or anything, but obviously dead, is G. I wake up. I think it was a dream. I hope. I mean, it's not reality, but it could be something else. I actually wrote it down because it scared me so much. Then I threw it away. But of course, it wouldn't go away. I told the story to a friend of mine and said, "Why does one think things like that?" She said, "It sounds like wish fulfillment." Sure. I've always thought ideas like that, I mean psychological ideas, were stupid. But I kept thinking about it, never having an answer. Then I thought about what she said just today. Then the answer came. What wish?
The river deepens when it gets down to the sea. The river deepens.
The sun goes down, sits and reads, falls asleep. He just
I was in college. I lived at home. It saved some money. I studied music. Learn a new instrument, a different instrument every year. You get the principles for another field. Let me see. Clarinet, bass violin, trumpet, voice. Many years later, I met Ed. He told me a story. His grandmother's house and somebody next door driving her crazy. The solution was drastic. Burn down the house. I was the person. The house was my mother's. We were both shocked. Nobody knew it. It happened in daytime. The reason was simple. There was a rule. No playing at night. It drove people crazy. The answer was simple. I went to the library. If I didn't have homework, I read the whole library. I don't know about you. The house was so to preserve her sanity. Of course, I didn't know. There was just an old woman. She wouldn't talk to me. Other people moved in. They were younger. They both worked all day, but there was a problem. It was the driver. He parked his car there. My mother was mad, but there was nothing she could do. We didn't talk much. I didn't practice. They didn't have anything to complain about. That solved the problem. I got tired of hearing about the car in the driveway, and by this time, I was getting too light reading. Then something happened. Across the street, there was a man, a retired policeman who sat on his porch, winter and summer, watching the traffic. One day in the summer, he looked down the street and saw a tornado at the end of the block. It was coming too fast to get out of his chair. When it reached the elm tree, which was in front of Tim's grandmother's house, it just plucked the tree right out of the ground. It lifted the huge tree 10 feet off the ground and dumped it and disappeared. If you've seen a tornado, you know what I mean. The man on his porch knew just what to do. He phoned for help. the fire department and the police.
He was
When the
retired.
truck got there, one of the firemen went to the house
Comes with
and pounded the door. A woman came down dressed in a nightgown.
Something is
The
wrong.
fireman said he almost fainted because of the gas smell. When the tree came up, it tore out the gas lines. He told the
Filled
woman
with gas.
they had to run. She said she had to change her clothes.
Smelled gas.
So he just grabbed her and started
Just
running. He got away
from
safely.
the house.
Then it exploded. The house was
Not a
demolished.
picture.
It blew away half of my mother's house. When I came home, it was all gone. There was a big crowd, and I had
There was a
to
newspaper.
persuade the
Just
police
talk.
that I lived there. Try to find
That's pretty
anything that I could save.
Here's the piano.
Of course there wasn't. The next few months I spent
Sometimes just think
in meetings with the insurance adjuster who used to be my father's friend before he
You
died.
and your father.
Now he said things like, how do I know that you had a piano? How do I know it cost $400?
insurance.
My God.
It's philosophical.
So I told him I saved his grandmother's
That's
life. If I hadn't practiced
And on the
my trumpet lesson, she still would have had the house.
We think it's
common
But at
delusion.
her age,
with a bad
she
cold,
couldn't have
Coincidence.
got
Or the
downstairs.
fun.
I think this is true.
or at least
This is a
What's the
lesson.
lesson?
Watch out what you wish for. My trumpet was gone, but her life was
Grandmother's
saved.
life.
What's the question?
books did you read?
The river deepens when it gets down to the sea. The river deepens.
Wake up in the double dark. Dreams are like a movie. He just
She tried to get him to the college for 2 or 3 years, but I wouldn't let her in because she didn't have credits. Actually, it was because she scared me. I didn't know why at the time, but she scared me. One semester, I decided to enroll the students myself. I don't know why. As opposed to letting them fill out their schedules and then arguing with them for taking both Thursday and Friday seminars for easy credits, since they were the same, except that on Thursday, the students were supposed to talk about their ideas, and on Friday, I was supposed to talk. So Thursday was a disaster. They always clammed up, and I wound up talking Thursday and Friday both, and Saturday and Sunday when nobody else was around. Once you start, it's a kind of sickness. She came in unannounced, and I accepted her, thinking I was crazy for doing so. But now she didn't scare me. Then the boy from Detroit, who was making a mechanical device, and then another person whose name I have forgotten, and then a woman I had never seen before, a total mystery, no credits, and I didn't even know her, but I just said yes. And it was the best Thursday seminar ever. The one that had scared me, talked 3 or 4 times about the culture of her people in San Francisco. Detroit talked about his ideas for the mechanical device, which had to be mechanical because he didn't have any money, and he didn't have the attitude for an electronic device. Then the woman I didn't know anything about, except she told me that her husband was an engineer, and that he was working for some company in the area designing a bridge. She told me about some other bridges he had worked on in other places. I didn't know if I believed her, but it didn't seem to matter. Everybody had to have a project. The one that had scared me made a Chinese song. Detroit made his mechanical device. I can't remember the third. The woman whose husband was an engineer, she said, talked 3 or 4 times about the ideas of Gurdjieff. She got somebody who worked at the school to help her with her project, which was a long sound, a mix of many pure tones using Gurdjieff proportions. Not great, not bad. At the end of the school year, I was in the college coffee shop alone. She came by and asked if she could sit with me. We chatted about nothing at all. Then the woman who had made the Chinese song, she was Chinese, sat down with us. She said how happy she was to have been accepted in the seminar. She said that before the seminar weeks, she had been troubled for many years by a ghost that stayed near her left shoulder and prevented her from being accepted by other people and prevented her from doing her work. Then she said to the woman whose husband was an engineer, "Sure, you took away the ghost." The woman said, "Yes, I know." I never saw the woman again. Higher education.
The river deepens when it gets down to the sea. The river deepens.